This episode brought to you, as always, by your mom. She's perhaps our greatest benefactor. She's the reason the show is possible. We thank you for her support, not yours. You're just a useless parasite. I don't know how she raised you. And that's what makes her our listener of the week. And of course, as we do every week, we always call in the listener of the week. So we got her on the line this week, ladies and gentlemen. It's your mom.
Hello.
So if you didn't think I was really talking about your mom before, now you know I am. This proves it.
Yes, of course, it's me, Mom.
Yes, I love the register of your voice. It's exactly where it should be. It's the mom register. Your mom gets dogs riled up in the park.
Yes, but for many reasons.
I don't want to know about the other reasons. Anyway, Mom, I just wanted to say thank you. I mean, you're not my mom. Let me just make this clear. This is everybody else's mom, not mine. My mom doesn't care about the podcast at all. Anything you want to say to the listeners of the podcast that, of course, again, you make possible?
Well, I was just worried and I found something unusual in your room. I found multiple copies of Jennifer Love Hewitt's wiki feed page. Thousands of them. In a binder that said on the front, ideas for new types of snails. I saw that, I thought, there has been a dearth of new snails in the world. Let's see what my progeny has cooked up. Imagine my surprise when I found what I found.
Wow, that is weird. But like I said, you're not my mom, so I'm not your kid. I'm not doing that kind of thing. I've actually never even seen human feet, ever. I don't even know how people are getting around. I thought everybody else was gliding around. I thought I was the only one dealing with these vestigial flippers, or flippers' vestigial feet. Which way is evolution going?
Evolution doesn't go in one linear way. There's no such thing as a more evolved or less evolved creature.
Where'd you find that out?
Wikipedia.
I heard Wikipedia was the alternative title to WikiFeet, but then they're like, all right, Wikipedia exists. But it would have worked, if you think about it. Cause peed.
Okay.
Cause of...
Yeah, I get it.
Are you bored by me?
I'm just glad to see you doing your little podcast, and I just want to make sure you can keep having fun.
Thank you. And that was Mom. That was your mom, everybody. She seems alright. I wish that I had done this on Mother's Day. That would have made a lot more sense. This episode, your dad has not done anything for this episode. But no, he's a great guy, even though he abandoned you to live at a strip club. He's a legal resident of a strip club. Look, I don't know, it's your family. You figure it out. Anyway, the rest of the podcast is kind of just like choose your own adventure, or like there's choices and there's outcomes and stuff. Except you have to come up with all the choices and all of the outcomes. So I'm pretty much just not going to say anything, and you can just kind of make up something in your head, and then you can give me 5 stars on Apple iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. So this will just be an easy one for me. I can just kind of sit back. I mean, I don't know, what can I possibly be talking about? Everything that's interesting to say has already been said, and everything that's important to say can't be said. I've been having that week where I'm just like in the middle of conversations. I'm like, what are we talking about? Why are we doing this? And I realize this is my problem. I have to figure this out. I sort of do think in that sense that the best things to talk about are things that inconveniently you can't talk about. Like things that you can't talk about because it's not possible. Like you can't rationalize them. Like feelings in themselves seem to be more interesting than talking about feelings, which also inconveniently is what this podcast episode has just become. So what I'm saying is there just aren't any words that matter. It's like what matters is what happens in between your thoughts. So really all you can do is just sit there and make jokes, and then people get annoyed. I'm like, sorry about that. Sorry about the fun that I had. I'll never do it again. I'll only say things that are factual and accurate and correct. Like, the funk this week, I think, is based on the fact that, like, I think if I acted like who I really am, I would just be, like, not really allowed to go outside because I would just be deemed an insane person. But that must ultimately lie at the heart of a lot of problems inherent to the human experience, because kind of a critical part of experience is the equal and opposite force, which is you, after having taken things in, want to push them back out in a sense, in some form of expression. And if you're not able to complete the circuit, you're just like, oh, something's not quite right, and you'll kind of like look at everything else first, and you're like, you know, that seems to be fine, that seems to be fine. So it's sort of like a chink in like a hose, but the only person who can interact with the hose is me. I'm the only one who can get the water going through that. So I think that, I don't know, also at the core, I think you don't really have a personality. You're just like a subjective point of view. Like, that's like what you are. But I don't know, how could you live like that? How can your predominant personality trait be a guy who notices things? Oh, I noticed you. Oh, great, thanks. Let's talk about how you noticed me. Okay. Well, you exist and I exist. That's about all I figured out so far. So, it's like, who is that guy? What is he doing? So I guess it's a question of like, am I getting too wrapped up in identity such that it's actually sort of a distraction from nothing, which is what I'm supposed to be paying attention to. It just gets a little boring, you know, it's nothing. And I don't refer to the term nothing in a nihilistic sense. This once again is a testament to how powerful perspective is, because a void, nothingness, is impossible to differentiate from another void. So if you do see a void as in a nihilistic sense, then you have to ask, how is it possible to see nothingness in a more positive way, as in like a kind of ground state of peace? It's not like there are two different voids. It's not like one like has a different smell. They're just identically empty. So why does the same thing seem so different to different people? Because the primate brain doesn't seek out its own annihilation. It's programmed not to by evolution. But something higher than that is okay with it inside of the human psyche. It sort of doesn't have an opinion about it either way. That's why when the primate part shuts down when you die, you suddenly don't care that you're dying. We know this. This is what almost everybody who goes through that kind of has a similar experience. And yet for some reason the higher mind, which seems to have access to memory, just accepts that it's dead and it says, okay. So is that higher mind active right now inside of you? Or inside of me? Is it actually always active, but there's just other things going on that obscure it inside of our inner world? So that would be quite a relief if all of the anxiety, all the fear that you feel surrounding death, if it actually just turned out to be a function of an organ, instead of reflecting any actual truth about the world. So you don't have to have any actual fear about it. Doesn't mean you should be seeking it out, because once you realize this, there's also no reason to do that, to end it prematurely. Because I think the higher mind actually is what you are. Okay, your mom just texted me and said she's no longer supporting the show. She doesn't know what I'm talking about. She's worried about me. She should continue supporting the podcast. This is no reason to pull out. I want to talk about my feelings one time, and I get demonetized, I get deplatformed. Now I'm under the yoke of Big Mom. And yeah, I'm willing to say your mom is big. Do you know how big she is? She has majority control of a commercial enterprise. She's huge. In terms of fiduciary status, she's like the Logan Roy of my ass. At the quarterly Purgatory Podcast shareholders meeting, your mom barges in there. She already owns 95% of the company. The other shareholders at the table are just sitting there. They're like shivering. They look like they haven't eaten in weeks. And they flinch at your mom's every move because she's so intimidating. She sounds so nice on the phone. This is the mildly interesting segment. It's like something that when I experienced it, I was like, this is so interesting. But it had such a short shelf life where I was like, it's already kind of boring to me. I thought about it for a second time and I'm like, I don't care now, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. On Twitter, somebody posted that they were watching girls on a projector on their roof. And I thought that's interesting. And then like 6 hours later, I was going for a walk. I happened to look in someone's window in their house, and they're also watching the HBO show Girls on a projector. And I thought, what is it about girls that you have to see on a projector? I don't understand the appeal. Is Marnie, like, more of a bad friend? Does it, like, enhance how bad Marnie is? And Jessa? And Hannah? Basically everybody but Ray, right? I mean, he kind of sucks, too. Like, they all... Depressing thing about Ray is, like, I'm pretty sure I'm now the age of Ray, and when I first watched Girls, I'm like, yeah, that is an old guy. But I'm not hanging out with fucking 23-year-old girls. So it's fine, I'm normal. A really good barometer for how well your life is going if you're not sure. An objective measure is like, are things going better for you than they did for Ray? Okay, your mom just texted me. She said she's agreed to step back in. She's a big fan of Girls. She must be very open-minded, I guess. I mean, when I was watching Girls, even there were points where I'm like, I don't think I should be able to watch this. They should add more television and movie ratings where they just go higher up in age. Like, nobody under the age of, like, 41 can watch this movie. I think they should describe your 30s as the, like, this wasn't supposed to start happening yet decade. Like, every other day you're like, I didn't know this was going to start happening already. Nobody told me about this. But I guess by 40, you're like, okay, I'm old. But you always say you're going to be old in, like, 5 years. Like, when you're 15, you're like, when I'm 20, I'm going to grow a huge bushy beard. And I'm going to go to college. And when you're 25, you're like, 30. I'll be dead then. And then you're like, after 30, you're like, oh, I guess you will keep living. It just keeps going for a little bit, then it stops. That's my read on the situation. I don't know if you heard different, but that seems to be the general pattern. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do a fact check. Remember the website PolitiFact? I mean, it probably still exists. I don't know why I'm saying remember it. But remember when it, like, mattered to me? Do you remember when it mattered to me that I had access to PolitiFact? Yeah, it still exists. I would get in arguments with my dad. This happened a lot, like the 2012 election, where like every single night we would just argue about politics. And I'd be like, actually, PolitiFact says the claim that Obama was seen trying to get into a glass of beer saying, "Let me be beer." PolitiFact says that's false. It didn't happen. But if you want to know what PolitiFact says today, if you even give a fuck, it says President Donald Trump's official schedule was suddenly suspended. Wrong. It wasn't. I think he probably was sick. He probably just got over it. But he probably just looked like shit and he didn't want anybody to see it. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the hand thing. He could have had a stroke or whatever, but it doesn't really matter because then it's just going to be J.D. Vance anyway. It sucks that the only reason we might not have to worry about him trying to run for a third term is that he just ate too many burgers before he could become more terrible. And I'm not saying I want him to die. I don't root for that. It's like somebody, I don't know who, but somebody somewhere loves this guy. Like actually I don't know who it is. But somebody maybe at some point did. And they're like, maybe that Donald is still in there. I mean, I doubt it. He's kind of always been a dick. But maybe he did something... Man, I'm really having a hard time with this one, huh? It's really hard to... Speaking of people I wouldn't want to be, I gotta bring out Slurp Von Lipstick, the host of Time Check. If I don't, a piano will fall on my head and my teeth will fall out like piano keys, like in a cartoon. This is in my contract, so if my teeth don't fall out like piano keys, I could get sued. But that's only if the piano falls, which I doubt could Alright, so there was a piano, but it missed me by a lot. I'm just gonna bring out Slurp Von Lipstick to explain this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Time Check. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Slurp Von Lipstick. That's right, I'm German. First name spelled D-A-C-H-T, E with an umlaut, R. What, you thought my name was weird before? Surely this will change your mind. By the way, that piano falling, that had nothing to do with me. I didn't plan any. I think just freak stuff like that happens sometimes. Sometimes a piano falls. It's killed a lot of my friends. It's actually killed everybody that I've ever known. Well, look, pianos falling from ceilings. Time Check isn't about that slapstick shit. This is about real stuff. Time. What's more real than time? It's literally one of the fundamental things that make up our existence. I would think you'd care more about it. It seems like I'm the only guy who gives a shit these days. Hold on, the timeline's ringing. Hello, who's this? This is the timeline with Slurp Von Lipstick, which is how I always answer the phone.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hey, Mom.
I just wanted to tell you some news. Your father and I.
Oh, no.
We bought a Keurig.
You bought a Keurig, like a coffee maker? Also, I feel like I should mention, I don't know how it came out the way I did.
Well, the doctor said you looked like when they found E.T. by the river.
No, that's not what I mean, but what?
Some people in the room threw up.
Okay, well, we can talk about that some other time. But, like, you seem so nice and normal. Like, you're great, and I'm Slurp Von Lipstick, for lack of a better word. Okay, well, anyway, you could have set that up a little better. I thought bad news was coming. You tell me you got a coffee maker. I don't care. By the way, I have some news for you as well. Do you want to hear it?
What is it?
I think you should sit down.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you might want to, like, lie down completely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to hit you, so... I just wanted to tell you, the time is 12:32 a.m.
Oh, I gotta go to bed. By the way, you should be having me call on Mother's Day.
Yeah, I know. Well, what else?
Nothing.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
That's my mom, folks. So you can see how I turned out the way I did. And, I mean, you know, too, because it's also your mom. Like, if you averaged out all the moms, this is that mom. She's my mom. Then she's your mom. But, yeah, I'm Slurp Von Lipstick. If you need me, I'll just be out and about in the town square, just looking at whatever clocks are around. Just kind of observing the passage of time. Man, I can't believe nobody will add me on Facebook. I seem so interesting. People in my family, even my lovely mother, just won't tolerate the things that I'm posting on my Facebook. Does it have anything to do with the fact that all I post is nauseatingly fake AI pictures of the most perfectly gorgeous rubbery woman you've ever seen, holding a gigantic rubber band ball, just sobbing, with the caption, "I made this huge rubber band ball and nobody cares. Also, it's my birthday. And I fought in Vietnam. Also, I was born with no butthole and nobody cares. Press a like if you care." No, it's not because I post those things. You know why they won't add me? It's because I'm white. I don't need to say anything else. I'm Slurp Von Lipstick. This was Time Check. So what? See you later. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. That, of course, was the host of Time Check. That was Slurp Von Lipstick. I'm only saying his name so that you can look him up and block him on Facebook. I shouldn't be so hard on him. After all, his mom sounds like a real pill. Isn't that a Pink song? You're just like a pill, but instead of making me better, You make me feel ill. And I always thought that was a bad lyric. Because if you're just like a pill, you're not like a pill. You're exactly like a pill, just like a pill. Except you do completely the opposite of what a pill does, which makes me feel worse instead of better. It'd be like if you said, like, let me compare thee to a summer's day, but the opposite of that. So a winter's day? No. The opposite of a summer's day. Think of what a summer day is, now think of the opposite of that. So winter? No. So yeah, it's September, which is sick. I've had it up to here with the fact that it's September. I've had enough of this. We live in a sick society that allows September to start now. Winter can start when it starts, fine. But after Christmas, January 1st, it's back to spring, dude. January, February, half of March, it's a wash. It doesn't count. It doesn't count as life. What needs to happen is we need to take the January, February, mid-March stretch and just retcon anything that happens every year. It's like a 2.5 month long purge. Well, the rest of the year, you gotta be on your good behavior. But January, February, it already sucks. We might as well make it as bad as possible and then just reset. Because nobody wants to live in that world. Nobody wants to live in a world of injustice and violence. Except for your mom. She owns majority stock in both. It's because we don't want to face the consequences of our unchecked impulses. Which is also true in a world of law and order. Because something actually does supersede the human-animal impulse. And it's something inside of us. It's a level of inner subjectivity that isn't really readily explained by evolutionary biology. There's no evolutionary reason why you shouldn't be just like a flesh and blood android that has no feelings and no experience of what it's doing to stay alive. There's no reason to have introspection for survival. Case in point, countless numbers of organisms that have thrived on this planet for millions of years. Do you think a jellyfish is able to worry about how it looks to other jellyfish? I don't know, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. But we have it, so what are we doing with it? There's actually an argument that, being conscious is kind of anathema to the goals of evolution because you can decide to do things that are bad for your survival because you have, at the very least, something that seems like free will. And so as a result of that, you could just decide, I'm just going to eat a tub of ice cream every single night. Does that improve the odds of you passing on your genetic code? No, if anything, it hurts it. So why are you even allowed to do that then? It should be locked down by now. So evolution does explain a lot, but it doesn't explain everything. Or I could decide to go on a hunger strike. That is going so far against my evolutionary impulses that it'll kill me within days. But I could do it. Most people wouldn't, but it's possible to do. Why is it even possible? Where did that come into play? Where did it suddenly become advantageous to be like, oh, I'm anxious now. Oh, I think people think I'm dumb and annoying. How is the capacity to have that thought in any way helpful to anybody? I don't know. It's your job to figure this out, because I have to go to bed. I have to work mornings the next 3 days. Just something I'm not looking forward to at all. Then I see other people doing things in the morning. Like I'm watching the afternoon news and I'm like, I know these people were there since 4 a.m. Well, how do they look so cheerful? How are they doing this? Then I realize I'm only seeing them at noon. I don't see them at 5 o'clock. I've never seen anything at 5 o'clock. I don't even know what that time is. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. The morning sufferer, that's what they call me. I suffer from a disease called being awake right now. Well, this has been the show. This has been the entire show. There's no pieces missing, this IKEA couch is fully put together. You can sit on it now. You can sit on, well, don't sit on me, but sit, I don't know. I don't know how to end the show. I don't know how to end episodes. Subscribe. How do you subscribe to this podcast? How do you do it? If only there was a button that did that. It probably doesn't exist. So you'll probably never be able to find this podcast again. That sucks. The only way to do it is by remembering the name of the podcast and just searching for it instead, which you surely won't be able to do because it's such a strange and unique name for a podcast. That's why there are 135 other podcasts with the exact same fucking title as this one. Is that something I knew when I made it? No, there's a lot of things I didn't know when I made it. I didn't know that vanilla flavoring came from the anal glands of beavers. Even though, from what I understand, it's actually quite rare. But some people still do it. So I'm a changed person. I don't see the world the same way anymore after finding out about the beaver butts. The beaver butts changed everything for me. That was a real perspective shift when I found out about those sweet beaver assholes. Well, that's been the Purgatory Podcast, and you've listened to the end. Your reward is that now you get to do something else, and that makes it all worthwhile. Thanks.